Here I am again with a mic here, life philosophizer, and we're just talking about astrology. So what were you saying about astrology?
I mean, mainly just the fact that people think, at least on the surface, initially it seems appealing. Also in different ways. People want to know about their sign. They want to know little things about it, whether it points out characteristics, other things like that. And I mean, then again, maybe that's just a guy perspective going right there. I mean, if you look at a lot of these, female marketing type magazines, I mean, then again, they're probably insightful and intuitive, cosmopolitan, things like that, whether it's, National Enquirer or something crazy like that. They actually provide some type of insight, even if it's just a daily horoscope that gets emailed to you or something minor like that.
That's funny. I totally take for granted that. I mean, how basically you have horoscopes everywhere and astrology everywhere in the newspaper, and you have like the phases of the moon and the sun in the paper, and it's funny.
Well, yeah, and I mean, whether it is, a hard science or in a way almost like a soft science. I mean, even just looking in the newspaper, I mean, I don't really look at my sign or anything like that.
Yeah, me neither.
But,
that's way too broad. And that, honestly, that's not even I mean, it is obviously astrology, but that's like commercial astrology,
Well,
That's a very...
It almost tells people what they want to hear.
Yeah,
the same way.
There's
it's
no real like
if your
science
week hasn't
behind
been
it,
going so well,
where astrology actually does have
it's
science.
gonna turn around pretty soon.
Yeah.
So just hold out, and I mean,
I
feel like like in the papers and things like that, it may promote a lot of good things. I mean, it's not always gonna have negative things to say. And maybe there might be some negative in there. I mean, obviously, big supporter of optimism, but.
Yeah. That's definitely not, like, to me, anyways, like, in-depth astrology. That's just cookie cutter,
Well, yeah, cookie cutter on the surface, give the people what they want to hear. You want extra chocolate chips on your cookie, here you go.
It's funny because it's kind of like a fake cookie, though, because daily horoscopes and stuff, like, unless it's from a really reputable source, and there are actually really good daily horoscopes out there, but for the most part, to me, my perspective, it's just way too broad. There's no...
Sugar cookie with artificial sweetener.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, Instead
it's
of
not
actually...
even Splenda, it's sweet.
Not even Splenda. Yeah, because with a birth chart, like, that's like real meat and potatoes, you know what I mean? That's... Like, there's a science behind that.
And that's what
goes back
Americans should
thousands
be
of
eating,
years.
meat and potatoes.
I like potatoes.
Well, yeah, there's so many different ways you can cook them.
What about... Yeah, whatever. To each their own, yeah. But... Yeah. Birth charts. Have you ever seen your birth chart? I showed you it, right?
I remember a very, very long time ago, probably about 2 years ago. I mean, you did show me that. I mean, I had a little bit of time to look at it, and then I filed it away somewhere. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
if you need it, you need it. If you don't.
Well, I mean, in a way it's interesting. I mean, I can see how, think about society and how, obviously math, science, those things are very important. But people want to learn more about themselves, more about society, hence all these kids with their liberal arts degrees, even though they may not have a job when they come out of college or anything like that.
They're definitely a better person.
Well...
Not better in a moralistic kind of way, but just better, like, they've developed themselves.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
They
so
probably
not comparing
feel as
even.
if...
They've just developed, literally, like, it's objective. In that time, they were studying a diversity of things, and in my experience, I think with everyone, when you study anything, you are enriching yourself.
Well, yeah, they're able to sharpen the pencil of perspective.
Yes.
I definitely feel that, but, I mean... I honestly feel that if you're able to learn at least a few things about that, any given college most of the time. You know, there's these core humanities and things like that.
I think the world would be a better place if they took... with core humanities, if they had an astrology course, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Because there's a lot to understand for each sign. I mean, just down to... medicinally as well, each sign reacts differently to medicine, and different parts of their body are susceptible to different diseases simply because of their energies. Like, this is wisdom that goes back thousands of years, you know what I mean? And has deep symbolism in history, and with Jesus and the feet, and Pisces rules the feet, and Jesus was this master Piscean of universal love, and there's a huge emphasis on the feet, and bathing the feet, and in India, kissing the feet out of respect, and there's a lot of Pisces in that country. Just that would be a cool class, like astrogeography. I wish they would just like fuse astrology with the education system, because I feel like every single discipline would be bettered by it. It's just such a rich, although misunderstood subject, or maybe not misunderstood, but just not a lot of people realize how deep it goes and how much it explains.
Looking at the past, all that stuff is pretty interesting. It would be really nice if they had at least an intro course and maybe a few more courses on that. I guarantee somewhere they do.
Can I ask you a question? This is like a history astrological experiment. Would you say that the following qualities applies to these three philosophers? Socrates, Confucius, and the Buddha. So would you say that these three people are these following things? Focused on truth.
Well, yeah, that's the triad that ties them together there. If you want to take that and point to a particular zodiac sign,
Libra.
Fine by
and
you.
Libra
I knew
age.
that's what the setup was.
Right? Oh, yeah, obvious.
But
okay, so some other Libra things, just to see, I'm curious for your perspective. Concerned with fairness and justice in society, especially. You can go one by one if you want.
Well, if you go back and look at what each of those individuals did in their particular times, of course that follows. But also, too, if you just think about a regular person as well, they're obviously concerned with, the search of truth. You might be floating through life. What's my purpose? Everyone's got that, in a way you could, I'm sure, Rene Descartes is not like that, but you think about that.
I'm going to look him up while we're talking.
Yeah, you honestly think about the foundation of knowledge that he had, the thought experiment with the demon.
Yeah.
And all leading up to the grand old conclusion of, I think, therefore I am, and because he knows that he has, conscious...
I'd like to analyze that.
Self-awareness, self-concept. He's able to go, okay, every other little thing makes sense now.
He's in Aries, by the way, which is the partner sign of Libra, which is really funny.
Well, yeah, I guarantee in one way or another, all the zodiac signs have to be connected. The methodology, I honestly think if, astrology or any type of astrology class were to be thrown into like a core humanity down the road or something like that, or at least an option for it.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to have a little bit more finite methodology doing that. I know there's websites and things like that, and those guys.
I know what you mean. There has to be a comprehensive, university-worthy course.
Well, yeah. Even whether it's
that would totally be easy to make, though. In all seriousness,
yeah.
And they have actually Kepler College, this college that does that. But as for like a classroom setting, which I totally think it deserves, I definitely see that being made easily by somebody, if it hasn't already.
Well, yeah, one thing I could definitely see them doing at these universities that do have clear skies and things like that, where you can actually see the stars, like where we happen to be right now versus,
Reno versus Vegas.
Well, in a way, yes, but...
Lighting-wise.
Well, yeah, but, how awesome would it be if there was, like, an intro astrology class, and then you pair that with, like an AST 105 lab. Or astronomy lab.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be a wonderful
together.
Class. Pair that together, get to know the constellations, being enriched by the seasonal constellations.
Well, yeah, because the thing is that, like AST 103 and then taking a 105 lab class is very, very, very easy. all that stuff, don't get me wrong, that's very interesting for all you astronomy majors, and, you know, if the stars provoke your interest, which most people it does, but you almost want to look at, we're looking at the constellations and everything like that. You not only know about the constellations, but you know that in reference to, you know, different signs and things like that. So at least in a way, when you look at horoscopes and things like that, you're able to kind of snuff out what's, you know, just really, really broad and what actually makes sense. And I mean, then again, people don't just rip open the paper and just go, okay, let me sit here and analyze each horoscope. But you might happen to go, oh, well, it's by the classifieds, and maybe I just want to check out the classifieds, see if there's not any good property right now. Something like that. And you open up the paper, and boom, you're like, oh, well, since I'm on the horoscope page, let's just look at my horoscope for, you know, funds and guns. And, you know, you happen to read it, and it's like, well, in a way I could see that being accurate, but it seems kind of fuzzy.
Yeah. That would be awesome, too, is some kind of... Because there's astrology software. I have some. It's excellent. But I would love for astrology software that could, like...
classes.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
You know.
That would be really excellent.
I honestly feel like, you know, in a way, I think just from, like, a general view, you know, people aren't too educated on astrology or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, it is dying out in a way, but it's also getting a lot stronger, too. You know, I mean, it's one of those things. I think the more commercial,
well, I don't know about commercial astrology, but I know that real astrology is definitely growing and people's interest is growing. I know
ever since the beginning of the time, people have been looking at the sky and just through that, and well, you know, is Earth square, is it round, and, you know, how the Egyptians knew that the sun, well, not the sun, we're not heliocentric, we're geocentric. Just kidding. But, yeah,
I mean, shit, right now, look outside. Like, the light in this video is the sun. That's incredible. Like, all of the light that Earth has ever seen, I mean, well, you know, most of it anyways, 99.99 is right outside. Is this same light that's...
Well, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, 10 minutes from now, if you pinpoint our location, you know, you look at